So talking about functions, right? So functions has two types, like a system defined function and a user defined function. So system defined functions, we have like a few types. What are those? Like we can go to our database, programmability, and functions. So this is the system defined functions, and these are the user defined functions. So system defined means already like MS SQL, they are created few functions. Those functions are saved here, like aggregate function, like min, max, count, average. These are the system defined function. This one, all these are like string functions and metadata, mathematical date and time functions, cursor functions. So all these are the system defined functions. So already we covered like main topics like aggregate functions, string functions, date time functions, like that, right? So now we're talking about the user defined functions. So user defined functions in the sense like we need to create the functions. So what are those like user defined functions? There are three types: scalar function, table valid function, multi-statement function. So yesterday I explained scalar function. So initially, what is a function? Means function what it will do. So scalar function will do like if any function, their nature is must return a value. Function nature is must return a value, and a function accepts only input parameter. Function accepts only input parameter. For example, we have like this function, dated function is there. Okay, it return a value, means one value it will return. See, this function select this function name, we pass the three parameters, 1, 2, 3. I pass the three parameters, it will return a value, only one value it can return, right? So that is like, see, function must return a value, so it was return a value, and it accepts only input parameter, correct? So these two satisfied. Similarly, I need to create a one user defined function. What is the, see, this is our function syntax, like create function, function name. These two are the input parameters. So when I pass like Vijay and Kumar, these are the two different input parameters. My output should be like this: Vijay space Kumar. So I will pass two input parameters. I need only one output. That is like Vijay space Kumar. This is my full name. So that is the reason I created the function. So first name I will pass here, last name I will pass here. The output should be returns in which data type? Varchar only, right? This is varchar only, data type. So I mentioned here returns varchar only as begin end. Return in brackets, I will implement our logic. So concatenate, what it will do? It will combine the two strings. So this is one string, this is second string. So here if I mention space, we will get the space. See, see Vijay Kumar. Vijay space Kumar. Like that, we can create the scalar function. And other example, create function, function name. I will pass my employee ID. It will return the, it will return the name. So let's see the table data first. Okay. So this is our employee table. So I will write here employee, employee ID, and I need the employee name. When I pass my employee ID, in return, I need employee name, EMP name, EMP name by employee ID. So I'm creating this. See, when I pass one or two, it will return Asha. So I'll try to pass here. Select function name, and I'm passing the input parameter as one or two. Is there any multiple data here? One or two here, one or two here. Okay, there two times it was written in. So here we mentioned top one. Only one value it will come. So see, one or two Asha, one or two Asha. So when I pass one or two employee ID, it will return as the output Asha. So this is my employee name. So that's what I return a function. So when I required, if I pass my employee ID, it will throw the employee name. Like this way, like in select, we can call the function. In procedures, what we will do, exec procedure name, we pass the input parameters. But in functions, we can use it in a select statement. Like select our function name, I pass the input parameter, it will return the value. Like that, we need to create the scalar function. And table valued function also there. See, this is the table valued function. So create or alter table valued function. In brackets, I mentioned this is input parameter employee ID. So my intention is, so when I pass my employee ID, so table valued function, what it will do, it will return the result set as a tabular format. So for example, I will pass my employee ID 101. It will return employee ID, employee name, salary, like 101, Vijay, 10,000. Like that it will give. If I pass my 101, it will return like this. If I need more details, I can mention the column names in the function. It will return all the details. But scalar function, it will return a value. Means it will return only single value. Whether it is a employee ID, whether it is a employee name, or else any value, it will return a single value only. But table add function, it will return the result set as a tabular format, like all the details. Like that it will return. See here. Here, create alter function, function name, employee ID. So if I pass my employee ID, I need the employee name, department name, and employee ID. So this is the details I need. It's employee name, department name, and this one, employee ID. So I'm creating like function input parameter returns table. In scalar function, what we will do? In scalar function, we mention the data type. Why? Because it return a single value, right? Scalar function, what we will do? If I pass a 101, it will return a single value, whether it is a varchar, like a name, whether it is a date, it will return the date of birth or something like that. But here, table add function, it will return the result set as a tabular format, like all the details. So that is the reason we returns table as written, remaining common. There also we use the same syntax. Only difference is here instead of varchar we keep it table, and here instead of single value I can mention multiple values. Okay, I am creating this function and let's try how it will call. So scalar function, what we will do, select function name, like that we return. But this is table, right? Usually table, how we will see, select star from table. This is also same, like select star from or function name. I will pass the value. See, two times Asha is there, like one or two. So two records came here. Okay. So this table valued function we can join with other tables as well, like here. This is our table valued function. I can inner join with department table. So what I will do here, d.dept id. A dot dept id. Why? Because in here it written the department ID as well, right? See, employee name, employee ID, and department ID. So what are the results that we written? Department ID as well, right? So I can join this department ID with department table. So I can join this department ID with department table. So I will write like this. See, up to here it will return from table add function. In this department I joined, right? So these two come up with department table. Like that, table add function we can join with normal table as well. Is it clear? Any questions here? You are Rajat, Gautami, Chandu.
Can you explain it again?
This one, scalar function, table value,
Yeah.
scalar or table value.
Actually both.
Okay, scalar function is there. So in normal function, how you will write like a system defined functions like this, right? Get date, select get date. I will
Yeah.
execute this. It will return a value, means it will return a single value, right?
Yeah.
It will return a single value. This is the system defined functions. Like mostly all system defined functions, it will return a value only. Okay.
Mm.
When you use in table level, if you write like here also you need to write. See, see this is a function only. This function will execute and populate all, but it will throws only same value, right? This is the system
Yes.
defined function. So now we are creating the same. This is what it is returning. Just it will return the current date. If what this function
Mm.
will do, it will return the current date. This function functionality is it will return the current date. Is it clear? It will return the current date. Hmm?
Yeah.
It will return the current date. Similarly, as per our requirement, we need to create the functions. So how we will create the functions? So usually we have like a user defined function concept is there. So these things we need to create. This system defined means already SQL server created these functions like get date, min, max, sum, count, average. These are already inbuilt functions. SQL server already created. We are using those functions. But now our case is I need to create the function. So there are three different types of functions we are able to create. So what are those? There are three different types of functions. First one is scalar function. Second one is table valued function. Third one is multi-statement function. First, let's take first one, scalar function. So initially, first understand the function. What is a function and function what it will do? Function means like a function nature must return a value. Let's take example of stored procedure. Stored procedure, what it will do? Stored procedure may or may not return a value. Stored procedure may or may not return a value. If it is a select stored procedure, it returns value, right? Select star from employee table is there. In procedure, when you execute that procedure, it will return the data, right? Is it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have insert procedure and update and delete procedure is there. If we use that insert procedure, what it will return? It will return nothing. Simply it will insert the data into the table, right? In outcome,
Yes.
we don't have it does not show any data. Simply if we use insert stored procedure, it will insert the data into table, but outcome it does not return any data, right? So that is the reason
Yeah.
we call it as a may or may not return a value. Procedure nature is like that. So may or may not return a value. But function, it must return a value. It must return a value. A value in the sense it is a single value. Function nature.
Okay.
Okay. In procedure, it accepts input parameter and output parameter, both values. So when you use, if you give input parameter, it will take. So after getting the value, we can pass that value to output parameter. Like that, you had two options in procedure, input parameter and output parameter. But in function, we have only input parameter. And in procedure, we can do DML operations. What are DML operations? What are DML operations? Insert, update, delete. We can do these three things in procedure, but in function, we cannot do DML operations. In function, we cannot do in function we cannot do DML operations. We cannot using function we cannot insert. By using function we cannot update. By using function we cannot delete. So DML operation function will not allow. So what it will do? So simple function, like let's take one example I explained here. So in my case, I need first name, last name in my employee table. But when I pass the first name, last name, I need the full name. Usually in employee table, how the data will save first name, last name, surname or middle name, like that we save the data, right? So, but every time I cannot take the first name and last name. Simply, I need the full name. Okay, by seeing that itself, I will understand. Okay, his name, complete name is this one. So for that reason, I created one function. So function syntax is create function, function name in brackets. These are the input parameters and return a value, right? A value is one value. That value returns which data type. So when I combine these two, output also same varchar only. In sometimes when I pass employee ID, I need the date of birth. In that time, I will mention here what data type, date data type I will return, right? If I pass my employee ID, I need the output as a date of birth. So the output date of birth data type is DOB, like date, right? So in that time, I will use
Yeah.
date. For example, if I pass my employee ID, I need the employee's salary. So the salary might be decimal or integer. So in that time,
Mm.
I will write here as a decimal or integer. So based on our scenario, we will mention like what input parameter we need to mention, what outcome it is, the outcomes data type we need to mention here. Is it clear up to here?
Yeah.
So now as begin end. So return is common for all. In return, in middle, we implement the logic. So our simple example is, so I will pass the first name and last name. It will return the full name. So concatenate function, what it will do? Select concat Vijay empty Kumar. See, oh,
Bracket.
okay. Concat
And
Vijay.
again, Kumar and apostrophe.
So here Vijay space Kumar. If I need any hyphen, I can mention this hyphen here. Like that concatenate function will use, see here, hyphen is there. If I need slash, like any by, it will show that. See? So my scenario, I need space. So I implement this and created this function. Already it is created. So I can implement like this. I can select function name Vijay space Kumar. So it will return the output as a Vijay space Kumar. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And next example like this one. If I pass my employee ID, I need the what is that? Date of birth. I need the date of birth. DOB. Date of birth might be date data type. So I will write date here. Actually, there is no data type. So select function name. If I pass one or two, it will return null. Why? Because date of birth is not updated. So this one. So this guy has date of birth. Employee ID 99. So I will pass 99. See, it will given this. When I pass 99, this one, it will return the date of birth. See? Is it clear?
Yeah.
So this is the scalar function. We can use this scalar function in select statement. So I have the table like this one. Select a star from employee table. Otherwise, I have this also. So here this is the employee details table. 13527. I created a function. If I pass my employee ID, it will return the email ID. Okay. So now just I'm writing this is different table, second table it is. So this is employee details table. But here I need the I don't know about this employee name, but I need this employee's email ID. So what I will do, I will use that function. So copy here dbo dot that function. I will pass the employee ID. So emp ID. See?
Okay.
So employee ID 1 is there. If I here it will go to employee ID 1. So employee ID 1 is there. His email ID is Sam. So came here, right? Employee ID 3 is there. Employee ID 3. His email ID is Sarah. It is came here. Employee ID 5. Employee ID 5. His mail ID is John. John came here. Like that function will work. Usually, if you want this mail ID, what you will do, you can join with this table. Employee table, inner join with this table on ID equal to ID, right?
Yes.
When you want to data from this table, what you will do, you will join like employee inner join employee details on ID equal to ID. Like that, you can join, you can fetch the details. But this email ID I need frequently for different cases. So I created a function. Simply I can use it like this. Select star. Star means all columns. Hmm. Simply I will write like this. I will use the function here. Instead of the single value, I will give the this employee ID here. So for one, it will give Sam, three, Sarah, five, John. Like that, we can use the function. Is it clear?
Yeah.
This is alias name. See, email. And second one is table valued function. Scalar function return a value, right? Only based on the one input, it will give one output like that. So here also do the same thing. Based on this input, one output. Based on in this input, one output. Like that it will give. But here, table valued function, it will return the result set as a tabular format. So if you give 101, it will return the result set like employee ID, name, salary, like that. So create function name. So this is my input parameter and returns. There scalar function what we will return? We return as a data type int varchar date like that. But here we mention just table. So it will return the result set as a tabular format. So as return, this is common. Here our implement the logic. So I need the employee name, department name, employee ID and department ID. So I prepared the query. Employee table, department table, I join with the department ID where this employee ID I passed it here and I need these columns as a output. So I created this function. So created. So I will use like this. Select star from there scalar function what will use select function name, but here we written as a table, right? So table syntax select star from table name. So like that we will use select star from our function name. I pass the 1 or 2 as the input parameter, so these two details came up here. Similarly we can join this table word function with normal tables as well, like inner join department table on this department ID equal department ID. Like that we can join. See, we got the department details as well. Like that we will use table valid function. Is it clear?
Yeah.
And next one is multi-statement function. This is third type, multi-statement function. Created two tables. What are those? Employee multi, department underscore multi. Now I have two tables. Employee table, employee ID, name, gender, date of birth, department, and department table. Here one means IT department, two means HR department, three means sales department. Again one IT, two HR. Okay, clear. Now we seen two types, right? Scalar function and table valued. Scalar function, what we will do? Just in returns, we mention that data type, whether unvarchar, like a date, int, like that, right? In table word function, returns, simply we mention the table. Here we have the chance to you give the table name and their columns. So this is like at the rate of EMP. So employee table. In table word function, return table only we can write. But here we can declare, like create the table as well. Like returns, this is my table name, this is table. So like column names. So I need this employee table's ID, name, date of birth. So ID is in int format, name is in varchar format, DOB in date format. Like that, it returns the table, these three columns, with these three columns. Returns the table with these three columns. So as begin, end. So I can insert the data into these three columns. So already a table is created. This is like a temporary purpose. Temporary purpose table is created. What is the table name? At the rate of EMP is table name. So insert into at the rate of EMP ID comma name comma DOB. So now I will insert the data into the table. So now I have the table called employee multi. Okay. So ID not in 135. So only 246. These three rows only inserted into this table, right? Actually, in employee multi table, we have how many records? 6 rows is there. In original table, we have 6 rows in original table. Let's see. Okay. In original table, we have 6 rows, but I need to maintain only male data. I need to fetch only male data. So Anurag, some with these three guys is there. Okay. These three only gender male data I inserted into this employee table. I created this function. Now I will execute this. See, we will get this. If I want gender as well, gender varchar of 100. Here I need to mention gender, and below also I need to mention gender, create or alter. If I run this function, see, it will return only male details. Why? Because I hard code here. In general employee multi table, we have all the information, 6 rows. What are those? Like three male guys and three female guys. Total 6 rows is there. But in function, I am inserting the value like hard code the value, these three guys only. Only male information I inserted into here. So when I run that function just without passing anything, it will return only male details. So we can join this details with normal table see, like this. See, function return up to here. But when I join this function with employee table with ID equal to ID, like this ID equal to ID, now it will return all the data like male, his date of birth, his department, like that. You can join department table as well here. D on D dot DEP. Hmm. See, we got the department as well. From here to here, it fetch from this tabular function. From here to here, come from employee multi. From these two columns came from this department table. So when I put star, it will return all the columns from all the tables. Okay, this is tabular function. We need to declare the table. As per our requirement, we need to declare the table and insert the data into there. So when I run that one, it will every time it will return that result set only. This is multi-statement tabular function. Any questions here? Hello? Chandu, Gautami, Rajat, Srilekha, Yuva. Any questions?
Sir, that EMP is a temporary table for this function.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Any questions? Shall I move to next topic?